Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the world famous podcast, Beating the Press. This is a real special bombshell news. So we thought we've got to release it. We've got to get one out, and we thought we'll throw a curveball. Normally, this guy right over there, Simpson, is normally only here for Euros, but we thought
it's a special.
We thought it's a special. We need him in. Breaking news. So. Normally, we tell everyone to watch it that's watching, like and subscribe. Great if you do it, but this is breaking news and it's massive. So, European Super League and Mourinho. I'm going to pass over to Chris to ease us into it, and then we're going straight in.
Oh, you're stitching us up, are you? Yeah. So obviously, what are they called?
Dirty Dozen.
Everyone's calling them the Dirty Dozen. Yeah. So the Dirty Dozen have announced.
That's a kind word for it.
Yeah. Dirty Dozen have announced that they're obviously moving into their own league. Apparently, they're not leaving our league behind. However, they hope another three teams, which I'm presuming are Dortmund, PSG, and Bayern Munich, are going to join them in this competition. Then obviously another five teams every year just get invited like a party into a 20-team league effectively. Obviously, there's been a lot of uproar, a lot of players, managers being caught completely off guard, and obviously a lot of pundits, Sky as you'd expect, BT as you'd expect, going absolutely mental for reasons, hypocritical reasons, but we'll go into that shortly. And obviously, most importantly, the fans are going absolutely crazy. I don't think I've seen a single fan that actually wants to go ahead with it. I have certain opinions. Obviously, you guys have certain opinions. Mine might slightly differ, might be a little bit shocked. But yeah, just first thoughts on those guys?
I'll go first. That's all right. I mean, it's brought the 12 teams for everyone. There's the so-called big six from England, Italy, top three from Italy, and I say top three, three teams from Italy and three teams from Spain. So they are Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs from Spain, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and from Italy, Juventus, Inter, and AC Milan. So my views, European Super League. I don't agree with it, but my single biggest issue with this is, and I went on a bit of a Twitter mad rampage when it broke in the middle of the night. It must have been about 2 a.m, and I put about 10 tweets together. It's the hypocrisy around it, and it absolutely blows my piss. So the reason why, racism has obviously been at the forefront for a while now, and it's been a massive issue. My biggest problem with this is, within the space of a few hours, and I say, how to eradicate racism, action, we want to see action. Within a few hours, space of a few hours, okay, this is news just broke. So you've got no planning behind it. It's just being thrown at you. You've got to deal with it. You've got every major authority, every major national governing body, every UEFA, FA, everyone, clubs, jumping up saying this is a disgrace, it can't happen. UEFA saying, right, you're going to ban your players from international tournaments. Premier League is saying, we're not going to let you play in the Premier League. You can't. Absolutely fine. The question is, where the fuck were all this when people are getting racially abused? When this has been at the forefront for not just this year because of Black Lives Matter, the race has been going on for a long time. Where Liverpool fans can go back from the Luis Suarez days, even before that. There's just been going on, and there's been no backbone from these major. And I'll point out UEFA and FIFA here, because what they do is they're happy to sort of put whenever they're about to lose money, that's when they get their house in order and they start to do shit, and they put threats, actual threats. When that Czech Republic player, the Slavia Prague players racially abused Glenn Kamara, it should be, you're banned, you can't play international football for this season, banned. Your club is banned and you drop X amount of points. Just hard thing. Say you get an Eastern European country or Montenegro where there's been racially abused before, they get absolute peanuts, £5,000, £10,000 fines. There's nothing. It's not going to achieve anything. That's my issue with it. It just shows, if you really want to eradicate racism in football, you're not going to eradicate in society, because there's a lot of racists in the world and we're not going to change it. You can do it. You can put actions in place, and that has shown it what you can do. The second part of this is finance. The only reason this act active around it, and it goes across the board from Sky, BT, everyone else, is the money. You're talking about the grassroots fan. We want to remember the fans. We can leave the fans behind. No one cares about the fans. They stopped caring about the fans when they started to charge people pay-per-view to watch Burnley against West Brom in the middle of a pandemic. There's just so much going on. You're talking about football lost its moral compass a long time ago. Okay, we're involved. We love the game, but let's not get away from that fact. I remember when Chen Evans he was accused of rape. He came out, he was still on bail, and clubs were still getting him and trying to get him in. So that just basically got binned. Granted, further on, I think he got cleared, but at the time he wasn't. So football has got a real duty to look at itself and think, are you right? The other thing is the FA, I just don't believe, are fit for purpose. Okay, they've just continually fucked up. They've had, we could talk about race, and we'll do a podcast on that, but they've fucked up on that a lot for a long time. What they'll do is they'll just regurgitate and get a new chairman in. He'll say wrong words, and it just gets boring. And it's tiresome. It's just, and I'm so glad Patrick Bamford said it on national TV.
Brilliant, wasn't he?
He was brilliant after the Liverpool game.
Amazing.
And he said it's great seeing this from UEFA, from the FA, from everyone. But wouldn't it have been great if we saw this action when around racism? And I just thought, I'm so glad you've said it, because it's not just me saying it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my views.
Simpson.
Yeah, I totally agree. Honestly, big up Bamford straight away. Big up Bamford, because, like you said, they're just taking the piss. I mean, going back to that Glenn Kamara thing just real quickly. That guy got a 10-match ban. Glenn Kamara got a 4-match ban for his reaction. How does that fathom? Do you know what I mean? It does make no damn sense, that. And for me, going back to this European Super League thing, I don't agree with it. I get why the clubs want to do it themselves, because UEFA and FIFA dominate everything. They say, you're playing these tournaments, you're playing this many games, we're playing internationals in frigging October, we're playing internationals 2 weeks after the season starts. The players could get injured. It's the clubs that are paying for their wages. So I get why they want to do it themselves. And if they'd have come out and gone, you know what, we'll run the Champions League ourselves. It stays the same. No, if you earn it, you get into it. But we'll run it. We'll say how many fixtures there is and how much money you're all getting. Instead of UEFA going, here's your share of it. We'll sit back, just organise a tournament. It's like me going, okay, I'm a draw you out of the hat. We'll make 50 million. I'll keep 48. Here's 2 for you guys, for me organising. So I get why they're pissed. I get why they don't do it. But like as Ty said, it's hypocrisy. They've gone and then gone, okay, we'll make a system. But then if you're one of the founding members, you never get to leave. You get to have all the money yourselves. So they've basically done what UEFA have been doing for years. I know it's a lot of foreign owners, and I know obviously a few are American, and the American one's a franchise. The difference is with the franchise in America is if you've got a club and if you've got a team and you finish bottom, you get first pick of the colleges.
Yeah.
Now the difference is with that is with the colleges, we have our own youth academies here. So it's not like there's colleges and they say, okay, Burnley finished bottom of the league, you get the first pick out of Lillishore, the best youngster coming through. Then it might work. But we've got our own youth academy, so it would never work as a franchise system or a franchise league. It's impossible. No. So you always have to have that competitive nature, because you create your own, you buy and sell your own. Whereas in America, if you finish bottom of the NFL or bottom of the NBA, you get first dibs on the next star coming through, and then you can maybe build a franchise from that. So eventually, teams will end up winning their own thing. You can't do that with football. And like I said, they forgot about the fans years ago. They don't give a shit. In their minds, they're thinking, right, tablets, mobile phones, you've got 1 billion people over in China, maybe half of that may watch football. Even if they all pay £1 a week, they'll watch it on there. Whereas, 67,000 turning up on a Saturday? It's not going to make us know much money as we could sell this as a franchise and as a product. I get it. Football moves forward. It does that. But football's all about passion. It's all about Leicester City's winning leagues. It's all about Southampton, Leicester playing in the FA Cup semi-finals and stuff like that. And these clubs are basically taking the piss. And let's be fair, they've made lots of money out of it. Even from the pandemic, these Liverpool owners have made lots of money. Man City have made lots of money. The English teams don't really need this. The teams that need it is Barcelona, Real Madrid. They've been in debt for a long time. They need the English clubs in this. Now, the English clubs like Chelsea have done today, by the looks of it, are going to drop out. If the English club dropped out, that league shattered. They can't do anything. Yeah, if people want to watch, obviously, Real Madrid, watch versus Juventus, stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but they need the English teams. The English teams don't need it. They get plenty of money through Sky as it is. So they need the English teams. The English teams go, you know what, we're not having it. And it's a difficult place for the players. You'd love the players to go, you know what, we're not even going to play them, we're on strike. But I get it, you're employed. But it's like me turning up to work now and going, right, as of Monday, you've got to move to London and you're working in London for our profit. I'm like, wait a minute, what? The fact that you don't tell your employees what the hell you're doing also shows they don't give a shit about nobody. And it goes back to the pandemic. You look at Arsenal, they're going and giving Ozil 350 grand a week, but then they lay off 200 staff. And it's like, I mean, surely that could afford that. You know, you're talking about a dude in a mascot that sweats his ass off 2 hours every Saturday. He can't even get paid. And Ozil's out here making 350 G's. No offense to Ozil, because let's be fair, he gets a lot of shit, but Ozil does a lot of charity work. He plays for a lot of surgeries for kids and stuff like that. So I'm not faulting him for the money he earns. But they can't, like I said, football is full of hypocrisy about what they can do, what they can't do, and what's right and what's wrong. And like I said, there's players that have been to prison, there's players like, it wouldn't surprise me if someone tried to give Adam Johnson a frigging contract in a few years' time. And you're just thinking, what the hell's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And
talk about football's moral compass,
for their own personal gain. No one gives an absolute flying F about anything. And it seemed like, I think, even the pandemic, every Premier League club should have been given at least 2 EFL teams to sponsor and look after. Like, okay, Liverpool, you've got York City and you've got Oxford, for example. You know what I mean? I mean, we haven't got any money. We still spent 20 million on Thiago. We could have given York City, we could have given 20 million to League Two, and that would have helped out League Two. So it's bull-dookie when they say, oh, there's no money, this is no money for that, and players, this, we haven't got the crowd, because of the crowd, we haven't got any money. They make so much money off merchandise. I had to buy my daughter a Liverpool kit the other day still, and it was still 50 quid for the damn shirt. Before I got a name on the back. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to change the name by default to just one letter because I can't afford the names on the back, love. It's just bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. And for me, if they take over UEFA for themselves and run it fairly and say, yeah, the system's still in place, but we're going to have less games so the players get less tired and have no internationals during the season, finish the season in April, then the England squad can have their players. And for me, that'd be better because then you can go, right, over the season, you're the best goalkeeper, best defender. They spend a month with England, do the things, and then they come back instead of breaking it all down. So I get why the clubs are pissed, but they've gone the completely wrong way about it.
Yeah.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, there's like I've had a roller coaster of thoughts. Obviously, my first thought, like everybody else, was this is the end of football. I was totally devastated, like really gutted and surprised at my club. But I put it on a tweet and I said that I thought, like everybody, you think your club is different, and at the end of the day, we're clearly not. Like our club, our supporters, our football team, our manager. Obviously, what you've got to do, and I think it's important, and it's a good job that Jurgen Klopp did, is separating the club, the players, from the actual owners. This is not Liverpool. This is John Henry, and I think it's important to establish that. But you guys absolutely bang on. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create an American system. I think Florentino Perez, he's headed it up. Exactly what Simpson said. Barcelona are in around about £1 billion worth of debt. Real Madrid are in around about £900 million worth of debt. So they need an out. Like, you know, they've had this gravy train for so long. They're talking about buying Mbappe, talking about bidding for Haaland. Where's all this money coming from? The only way that they can afford it is by increasing their revenue. Obviously, if wages are going up, you're going to need to find a way to generate that money. Now, football's been spiraling out of control for a while, so I'm not against the fact that you know, developing the game, getting more money. They're a business at the end of the day. You know, it's long gone that this is a game for the fans. You know, if you think about, like, Newcastle fans have been screaming for this. Like they've been saying, look at our owner, look what he's doing to our club. Arsenal fans for a while screaming at their owners, and everybody just kind of closed their eyes to it until now it's coming to everyone at exactly the same time. You know, Newcastle were going to get took over by a trillionaire owner. Yeah, the Big Six decided, basically in my opinion, told the Premier League, he can't come in because they're going to crash our little party the way we're getting all the most money. You know, you think of Everton, their owners have just come in and they're spending a good amount of money in, giving them a new stadium, hopefully helping them crash into the Big Six. But obviously the Big Six are wanting just to break away now and close the door and basically pick up the ladder so no one else can get in. And I just think, like, you know, Liverpool and Man U, I'm just so shocked at them. I can understand, like, you know, if you think about City and Chelsea, you can understand City and Chelsea. You'd think, oh, new money. You know, it's new money. They've decided upon this. But I actually think that City and Chelsea have just gone along for the ride. They just think we can't be left behind. Man U and Liverpool probably think rightly, we bring in the most amount of money, so we deserve a bigger slice of the pie. But City and Chelsea, I'm kind of surprised more at City because they've done a lot of work to basically improve the infrastructure, the local area. They kind of helped their reputation quite a lot along the way, and now they just dragged that through the mud. And they would have been irrelevant around about 20 years ago. So they've got this opportunity to come through, and the only way that I see this turnaround is the players. I think the players are the only ones that can do it. The players and the managers. I don't think the fans have got enough about them to do it. I think it's one of those things where we're all up in arms right now, but as soon as your club wants to sign Mbappe, we're all hypocrites. And lastly, I'll just end on this. You think of the UFC, Conor McGregor. You've got Conor McGregor, and then you've got the rest of the fighters. Comparatively, everybody says, "Oh well, I won't watch Conor McGregor. I'll go and support I'll go and support the younger team. I'll go and support the Premier League teams like the West Ham and all them that have been left behind." But in reality, when Conor McGregor fights, the best fighter, when you think of Liverpool playing, Man United playing, Barcelona playing, everybody's just going to go and watch that. I think everybody's a hypocrite.
Just a quick notice that as well, and they call it a Super League. Atletico, no European Cups. Tottenham, no European Cups. Arsenal, no European Cups. What got me as well about Tottenham, the reason they're in there, Daniel Levy's been trying to sell that club for ages. He's now built, which pretty much is a £1 billion club with the stadium, with the league they're in. He's built them too much to the point where you can't sell them now. No one can afford to buy them. So the only way he can afford to now sell them or get someone rich enough to buy them is by being in this Super League. That's the only reason why he's joined. Yeah. That is the only reason why Daniel Levy's joined. He screwed himself by making an amazing club, basically, if he can't sell it.
It's not about success. It's about, because Tottenham are in the top 10. Tottenham are in the top 10 richest clubs. Just what you said, Simpson. You've got you're the average fan. You'll go in. You'll buy your ticket. You maybe spend 60, 70, 90 if you're in the Emirates. You'll spend that, and you probably won't buy a pint because it's too expensive. You won't buy whatever. But you take this to America, you take this to Japan or anything like that, they're taking their family in there, they're making a day of it, they spend all the money on the tickets, they've got all the merchandise, head to toe, burgers and everything like that. That's the fan that they want to see.
Yeah, exactly. You would love like Dunkin' Donuts adverts on the bottom of the freaking TV screen and shit like that, you know what I mean? It's just going to be...
Just to let our listeners and viewers know that this is, we've just had we'll say breaking news, fairly fresh. Henderson's pulling 16, for pulling all the Premier League captains together for the chat. I think that's tomorrow. Chelsea have become the first team to pull out. And so when we finally release this, I don't know, there might be the clubs.
Trent's made a statement as well.
So there's loads of statements. There's a lot. This is like an ongoing story. So by the time we release this, stuff might well have changed. But at this moment, this is our sort of initial views and thoughts. And just to sort of add on to that as well. On the back of all this, Mourinho got sacked, which has been lost.
And he could afford it by this money. That's why.
Yeah, and it's just been lost with all this, And I mean, we've spoke about Mourinho before. We released one before, And it's not a surprise. I know me and Chris are not surprised for him to go because he's a manager who's now, I would say, he's finished. I can't see him getting a job in the top gig anymore. Not in England. No. And I think there's a nasty edge to him now, which you can almost get away with it when you're winning everything, but when you're not, and you are where you are. He's obviously had a few gigs.
Petulance.
Chelsea, Man United.
It's a shame because I liked him back in the day.
What do you think of the timing on it?
I think Levy's clever. There's two things to it. Number one, it could get hid. It could get among the European Super League thing. People won't really give it as much. Won't think about it much and give it as much press. And then second one is if he wins the League Cup finals coming up, if he wins that and then gets sacked, could he then go through unfair dismissal because he's won a tournament? Do you know what I mean? And he gets more money.
He'd have got him an extra year, I reckon. That would have got him an extra
year. I mean, does he get an extra year or does it cost him more money? So Levy's very sort of business minded. Do you know what I mean? So I think. But I think
he could never afford to sack him until this European Super League money came out. And apparently that's where, we're talking 34 million as a compensation package, apparently.
He's had some compensation, hasn't he?
You know what I mean? This dude is living life.
So, what are you? So, just a really quick one. Do you think the decision's right or wrong? What were you?
To sack him?
Yeah.
I believe he should have been given till the end of the season.
Yeah.
I said he would go before, but I never thought he would go before the final. I thought he'd get hammered in the final and then he would go.
Yeah, I think he was on the verge. I think he was on the verge. He looked like he was on the verge just to the league form and the hearing the unrest. I know a couple of players have come out and been like, "Oh yeah, Harry Kane was like that." Danny Rose jumped out of the back of a van and announced and was like, "What are you here for?" Laughing. So most of the players didn't like him, and that's what generally happens at most teams. After 3 seasons, he's got a way of belittling players to try and get the best out of him. But once you've heard it for 2 or 3 years, eventually you go, "You know what? I'm sick of hearing that." To be fair, so I think there's only maybe a couple that wanted him to stay.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish on the question of the day and also just aim the question at you guys as well. First and foremost, just to hear your answer. Just in a brief summary, do you think the Super League will go ahead?
Oh, for me, it's not going to go ahead. Now, with Chelsea leaving, it's just going to be a deck of cards now, and they're going to fall. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to. It's not going to go ahead. I just think it's shown the true colours of quite a few owners, though. And I'm disappointed with quite a few clubs as well. Do you know, you say Barcelona is like for the people and stuff. Bullshit. You know, I mean, I think the thing is, it's that the people that are pissed off are not the owners, are the fans of those clubs, because they're getting tainted with that and they absolutely hate it as well, because that's not what they are. So yeah, in a short answer, no, I can't see. I think if the old 12 still stood by and didn't do anything, then potentially yes. But with Chelsea leaving now, I can see.
Yeah. And just quickly, Ty. Sorry. Do you think it'll be? Do you think that it'll still be the same, like with fans' relationship? You know, I'm thinking specifically with Liverpool. You know, the owners. Do you think that's it? Do you think they'll be done with the Fenway Sports Group now?
It's a really tough one. I think Jurgen Klopp's the most powerful person at the club. If they do anything to piss him off, I think then they will look. I think the fact at the moment that they're sort of winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, I don't know, this season's been a bit shit, but I think the issue is when they've certainly got a model around how they pay for players, and they're very sort of stringent with it and tight with the money, aren't they? So I think if it comes to it and Klopp ever gets public with saying I wanted him but they fucked up and they didn't get me, then that could be an issue. But they messed up with the furlough as well, you see. So that's the thing. And then they backtracked after they realised what fans were like. I don't think long term they've been successful. My question back to you would be: do you think they'd still be here if we'd not won the Champions League or Premier League 8-9 years down the line? Do you know what I mean? Or been successful? No. So they've obviously got, but you know, they're very sort of business.
I think if they
done
didn't
well with the stadium, I get that they put money back into it, but I'd say they go.
Yeah, I think if they weren't lucky enough to have Klopp, they would have went by now. But sorry, Simpson, your thoughts on whether it'll go ahead, Matt?
I don't think it'll go ahead, really, to be honest. I think the only reason Chelsea backed out is when they found out they might be kicked out of the Champions League on Friday. I thought, well, bloody hell, Paris Saint-Germain are going to win it. If Man City and Real Madrid stick to their guns, we'll be at final against Paris Saint-Germain. I think that's the only reason why I've done it. Yeah. Now, and again, for the rest of them, I think, to be honest, FSG and them will stay. Look at the Glazers. They're not in the country. They're never here. The fans can protest as much as they want. They don't give a shit. I'm still getting my check at the end of the month. They're never here. So they don't have to face the backlash.
Who can buy
players do. Exactly. And who can buy them? Like, they got Liverpool on a steal for like, well, they got 200 million plus 200 million of debt. Cleared the debt. They built the stadium. They built the squad. Now, again, the only one that's going to buy is a foreign owner. I don't know any British people or even Merseyside people that are rich enough to buy them. I don't think even the fans clubs are going to get them. So unless someone comes in with a massive deal and we get another foreign owner that basically sees this as a business, I can't see them going because they don't have to face the music. They don't live in Liverpool. They don't really come to any games unless it's a final. So for me, and Abramovich is the same. I mean, I don't think he's there much anymore, to be fair. I think he watches it from afar, from Monaco on the yacht, you know what I mean? I can't blame him, to be fair, you know what I mean? But the owners, they're never there to face the music. I think Man City owners are the only ones you see mainly there most weeks.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I said, there's a lot of the community. And Gary Neville said it brilliantly at Old Trafford. You go to Old Trafford, you go past it. It's one of the most run-down Premier League grounds there is.
Yeah.
And it's like, how on earth is that? Like, it's the biggest club stadium. How on earth is that so run down?
Yeah.
They don't put any money into it. They don't give a crap. They don't care.
Yeah.
So they'll be there as long as they need to. And they'll pass it on to the kids and it'll carry on going until we all basically start new clubs again, like Wimbledon, and do it ourselves again.
Yeah. But I thought it was, I thought that they were going to Basically, it was going to go ahead because Ed Woodward basically cut himself off from Europe, and I just thought, when they're being backed by JP Morgan, like at that point, you're already so far down the line that you're not really going to back out. However, like obviously the clubs spoke. Obviously, I didn't know about Chelsea until Ty said it just there, and if they're falling, all it takes is one. But my final thought is, I think that this was never about what they proposed was never the final outcome that they were going to expect anyway. I think it's like anything you negotiate. When you go in, let's say you want 100 grand, you're going to go in at 150 grand. You don't start where you actually want it. So I think it's just a case that they want reform, and I think this is a perfect example for perfect time for everybody. They talked about what was it, project big picture. Yeah. You just said there, project restart. It has to project restart. That's what it should be.
You're trying to call UEFA's bluff.
I think just the other thing as well linked to that is, before I forget, is the government have got involved. So Boris Johnson talk about independent regulators. So there's Tracy Crouch, who's the ex-sports minister, has now got a fan-led review. So they've realised the FA is not fit for purpose. There needs to be a new revamp of the whole. There needs to be independent regulator. You look at the owners. Everything needs to be looked at from start.
The maddest thing about it is the Brexit legislation. They can make new government rules now to fit and proper test. And go, you know what, you have to sell them now because you're not doing it. But what gets me is like the Leeds United own a couple of years ago, owed tax on a boat back in the day in Italy. He had to leave Leeds, Cellini, and then you've got these guys doing this.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, guys. Yeah. So that was supposed to be a quick fire one.
It is important that it is one of the biggest one that we should cover. It's probably the most important thing, and I'm just glad that all the clubs are coming out against it. We're obviously all against it, but stop throwing stones in glass houses. I think that's generally the message of the day. So obviously, question of the day: what are your guys' thoughts on this league, and do you think it'll go ahead? All questions down below. Obviously, give us a like, give us a subscribe, join the BTP army. Anything from you, Ty?
No, just that's it. Thanks for listening, watching. Do the fancy jazz stuff down at the bottom. And it's to see you from me, and catch you next time.
See you later, guys.
Yeah.